Sir, we are live.
Okay.
Dear shareholders, a very good morning to everyone. I am Dinesh, the company secretary. Alongside with me is Dr. Sridhar Ganeshan, managing director, and Mr. D. Muralidharan, the chief financial officer. Welcome you to the 30th annual general meeting of Caplin Point Laboratories Limited. This meeting is being held through video conferencing in compliance with the statutory provisions. For smooth conduct of the meeting, the audio of members will be in mute mode. The audio and video will be opened at appropriate time only to those shareholders who have pre-registered themselves as speakers. Please take note that the deemed venue of the AGM is the registered office of the company. All the possible efforts have been made by the company to enable members to participate and vote on the items being considered at the AGM. Now, I would like to introduce the directors, key managerial personnel, and invitees present in this meeting. We have Mr. C.C. Parthiban, Chairman, Dr. Sridhar Ganeshan, Managing Director, Dr. K.C. John, Independent Director and Chairman of Audit Committee, Mr. V. Thirumalai, Independent Director and Chairman of Nomination and Remuneration Committee, and also the Chairman of Stakeholders Relationship Committee, Mr. R. Vishwanathan, Independent Director, Mr. D. Satyanarayanan, Independent Director, Dr. C.K. Garyali, Independent Director, Mr. Vivek Parthiban, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. D. Muralidharan, Chief Financial Officer, representatives of CNG, SN and Associates LLP Statutory Auditors, Mr. G. Ramchandran, Secretary Auditor and Scrutinizer. Mr. D.P. Mishra, Non-Executive Director, has expressed his inability to attend this meeting. Requisite registers, certificates and disclosures are available for inspection by the members. They may follow the procedure mentioned in the notice of AGM for accessing the same. I now request Mr. C.C. Parthiban, Chairman, to initiate the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have a great pleasure in extending a hearty welcome to our 30th annual general meeting. As the requisite quorum is present, with your permission, I shall call the meeting to order. We are living in an unprecedented times. Year 2020 has been very stressful one, and 2021 is slightly better because of the introduction of vaccines. However, the most important factors are, especially for self-care, is self-love, self-awareness, and self-belief based on the COVID appropriate behavior. So stay safe and stay healthy. Now, let us look at the fundamentals of our business. You are all aware that there is no one road to success in business. That's why we took the road less traveled. With the result, today our liquid cash and liquid assets put together is almost equal to the top line of our company in 2021. The deposits on 31st March stands at 470 crore and paid up stocks and receivables 460 crore, and revenue of 2021 is 1060 crore. Now the elevator pitch of our differentiated Latin American market business. Direct to consumer through shareholders, both online and offline sales. Unlike most of our peers, we don't sell our products to the importers. Today, we sell the products through our own subsidiary companies in most part of actually the business that we have in Central America and some parts of Latin America. The main reason is when you sell your product to the importer is the one actually who has the power to do the registrations most of the time. Either he registers the products in his name or he registers the products in the name of the company and the importer. Once the registration is done that way, the power actually to sell and manage the cash flow and profits vested with the importer. And the importer not only deals with one company, he takes the exclusivity from the manufacturer. At the same time, he is not the exclusive importer for the manufacturing companies. He deals with various other companies too. In the process, he uses actually our money as working capital and enhances actually his prosperity. And most of the time, the companies which go from India and China, they look at the prices of the component that they offered actually to the importer and reduce their prices. Eventually, it results in credit business. Once you sell your product in credit, the strategy goes out of your hand. That's why we became the importers in most of the Central American countries we are present today. That's how the subsidiary companies started functioning today. We directly sell to the smaller distributors and retailers, thus improving the cash flow and profits. Number two is the skin in the game. You're aware that we've been in this business for the last 16 to 17 years in Latin America. When you first go and start a company in your name or in a name actually, which is not going to help the importer, there is a physical risk. And if you want to take the physical risk, then there is an opportunity that the reward also comes with the risk. But it's not easy to engage a professional and request him to represent the company. None of the professional, 99% of the time, they are not ready to actually work for a company where there is a physical risk. And I've also seen 1% of the professionals who are ready to take the risk, and eventually they have become actually the businessman. They went there, took the risk in entering the market, learned the ropes of the business, and they themselves started actually the companies, which again has gone against actually the interest of the company, which sent the representative to the markets. And you're also aware that if somebody decided for progress, and you cannot stop him also. With the result, what we have done is the family decided to move to these parts, the parts where there is a risk, and that's how the promoter's son has gone to Central America, and then later we choose people from the lower strata, mainly people who are poor and people who don't even speak actually English. That's how we picked up people, and these are the people who are not in a position to earn even 5,000 to 6,000 rupees at one point of time. Today they are all earning $5,000-6,000 in addition to their own expenses in Central America. This model, the form of actually promoter's son managing actually the professionals, the so-called professionals may not be extraordinarily intelligent, but these are the foot soldiers who brought the company to where it is today. So the skin in the game has really helped. The third important factor is the stickiness factor. If you sell a product with good quality at affordable price for 10 to 15 years or 15 to 16 years, that creates a stickiness factor at the bottom of the pyramid. The people who buy your product, especially the middle class and the poor, they'll come back to you again and again as long as the product that works, and that too if it actually satisfies their budget. That's how we have created actually the stickiness factor in markets where we are today in Central America. Without these features, without these things that we have implemented, probably we will be one among the generic player who will be playing the competitive dancing in the vanilla generic game. Now, building tomorrow's today through various R&Ds. Currently, we have 2 injectable R&D, 2 OSD R&D, 2 API R&D, and 1 CRO. First, let me talk about the premium injectable R&D, which mainly caters to the US and regulated market. today, Dr. Subbu heads actually the R&D, has completed close to 40 products, which includes some of them are difficult to manufacture products in the form of suspensions, emulsions, which we call it as complex molecules. Hopefully, the next 2 to 2.5 years, we'll complete the exhibit batches and file the dossiers in US and other markets such as Brazil, Mexico, Europe. And we also have plans to go for a global dossier, and which we will file in most of the countries where there is a potential for growth and sustainability. And the second injectable R&D is the one which is in Pondicherry. This caters mainly to the ROW market. Here we already filed 50-60 products in countries like Chile, Colombia, Peru, in addition to the markets where we are today. These are the markets which are ready for business. But unfortunately, due to COVID, we have not been in a position to send our business development managers because certain restrictions which has been imposed by these countries in the form of closing the borders that does not allow employees to travel and stay there. The third one is our OSD R&D. This is headed by actually one Mr. Umesh. And so far he has developed around 140 to 150 products. And in addition to formulating new products, he has also reformulated the old products with the result. We don't have any quality issues in our current business in Central America and West Africa. And he has also formulated unique products such as CNS, CVS, and anti-diabetic. And we are in the process of completing registration of 3 divisions. 1, CNS, CVS, and anti-diabetic. 2, the oncology products. 3, the injectable products, both simple and complex molecules for the hospital division. We have opportunities to create 3 different brand marketing, which of course you know well in the form of creating prescription through doctors. The only issue, as I told you before, is COVID. With the result, we have not been in a position to start our brand marketing business in the current markets. And another R&D of the OSD is specialization in soft gel capsules. This is being also done from Pondicherry. We have increased our products from 10 to 30 to 35 products today. We also have another 20-25 products in the pipeline. We will be completing everything, say, 1 to 2 years time from now. The 2 API R&Ds, they've already developed 25 to 30 products, which is in the lab scale. Once we have an API factory, we are planning to actually go for the DMF in the next 1 to 2 years. Here, I also want to convey a message that we are likely to acquire a US FDA API factory before 31st December. 90 to 95% of the work is over. We are confident that we will be able to acquire this facility. Once we acquire this facility, we have an opportunity to file dossiers that will help actually Caplin sterols in the form of first source and second source for the formulations which are already filed and approved, and also for the new formulations for which the development has been completed in some areas. And also we will have to go for developments with the first source of API which we are planning to develop in the new facility. Then CRO. Best news from CRO which we received in the last week is we got the US FDA approval without any observation. This is something, a rarity for a CRO. And now that it opens up the opportunity for us to do BE studies, not only for OSDs in the form of general oral solid dosages, but also onco OSDs and injectable suspensions and emulsion, which is a big opportunity for our company. And eventually, the CRO will emerge as a profit center of its own. Now, the strategic expansion in projects, products, and markets. Let me start with Caplin sterols. The second phase civil work is already started. We placed the orders for the machineries, we paid the advances, and hopefully we'll be able to complete the second phase in the next 15 to 18 months. Once we complete the second phase, probably we'll be like any other big players who will have all sections of pharmaceutical formulation in injectables. We will not only have the current 2 lines of solution injectables, but also the ophthalmic. We have currently ophthalmic and solution injectables. It's 2 + 1, 3. And we will have bags. Hopefully, this will be completed. The installation is in progress. It will be completed by January 2022, and the exhibits will start. And we are expecting 2 more lines from Bosch, and that would come somewhere in 8 to 9 months from now. Once we have everything, we will have 6 lines totally, I believe. Am I right, Vivek? 6 lines? That 6 lines will have normal injectables, general injectables, ophthalmic, then lyophilized products, PFS, and bags. In addition to that, we'll also have a separate line for propofol. Then the expansion with regard to our Caplin point in CP1, we have found 2 areas, especially the injectables and soft gels. We don't have much competition in semi-regulated and ROW market. So we have been increasing the capacity on the injectable side. We have plans to go for expansion in soft gels also. We have been increasing the capacity of other areas where we are getting business permanently in the form of tablets, capsule, ointments, liquid oral suspension. Some of the low-tech products we are outsourcing in India, and you are aware that we have been outsourcing from China also. The outsourcing from China is hardly from 3 companies, maximum of 3 companies, which are considered as the best companies from there. So we don't foresee any quality issues. However, we have a quality control laboratory which tests the products and then exports, which you also know. And coming to markets, as you know well, the biggest market in the world is US. We are trying to increase our products to the US market. And the current status with regard to Brazil is we have already obtained the facility approval. We are planning to submit our dossiers and the work is in progress. We got the registration of 1 product from Mexico, and we already got the approvals from the mid-sized markets such as Chile, Peru, and Colombia. In fact, we have done more registrations, like 30-40 products registered in Chile, around 30 to 36 products are registered in Peru, and maybe 5-10 products I think we have registered in Colombia. There is 1 more market where we have registered around 60 products is Bolivia. We are about to start our business in the form of opening up a warehouse which will be next to the people. That alone will actually take our company to the next level also. And Mexico is another market which is the biggest market and is very closer to the countries where we are present today. We already identified an associate. He has been in business and is marketing some 230 products, and he doesn't have any facility on his own, and he is very keen to associate with us. And we have not been in a position to travel. That's one reason which is delayed the whole prospect of entering into Mexican market. Coming to human resources, you know, the most important one is the human resources. Our ESOP at par is the real magnet to attract actually the best of the best employees for our future. And it's happening. We also understand the importance of freedom that we have to offer to our senior professionals. And they also understand life and business is two-way street. Authority and responsibility. We give the authority to them, and we also request them to shoulder the responsibility. And when it happens, the company automatically grows. Now, how we stand out compared to our peers actually in India. Generic sales without any business model differentiation or technology is like a junk in the trunk. That's why we always go for a business model differentiation. Now that we have reached a stage where we have complex products which is not that easy to manufacture or develop or manufacture for any other companies of our size. The second one, as you know well, 6 smaller countries, we are doing a business of $100 million. All these put together, the population is lesser than Tamil Nadu. And we have enormous opportunity in the form of graduating to the bigger markets with the kind of products that we have and the people we have actually who can support to get into these markets, do the registration, and once actually it comes for commercialization, we also have facilities to export the products to all these regulated markets. Then you are aware that we have various R&Ds to provide huge growth opportunities of future business. The next reason is complex injectables in the pipeline for US and other regulator market, which will also be a booster to our future business. And the entire investments, be it in the form of products or projects or in markets, have come from the internal accruals. Finally, you are aware that ours is a turnaround story. When we had the setbacks, we didn't sit back and watch for the comeback. We took the back, went to the countries where most people feared to go, especially the war zones, and what you see today is the result of actually what has happened in the past. And now we have a professional team. This teamwork is, I consider it as a dream work to achieve the milestones and to reach as one of the top 25 companies, say 6 years from now. I think it's definitely possible with the help of the professionals that we have and the kind of actually the developments that is taking place in the company. Thank you so much. Now I finish. Take over.
Thank you, Chairman. We also have Mr. Ashok Parthiban, the head Latin America business, who have joined the meeting. In terms of provisions of Section 145 of the Companies Act 2013, I am pleased to state that the statutory auditor's report and the secretarial audit report of the company for the financial year 2021 does not contain any audit qualifications, reservations, or comments. In compliance with the provisions of Section 108 of the Companies Act 2013, the company has provided remote e-voting facility to its members through Nsdl platform for the businesses proposed in the notice of annual general meeting. G. Ramchandran and Associates practicing company secretaries have been appointed as the scrutinizers to conduct the remote e-voting and also e-voting at the AGM in a fair and transparent manner. Please take note that the members who have not cast their votes through remote e-voting and who are participating in this meeting may cast their votes during the meeting through the e-voting system provided by Nsdl. For this purpose, members can click on Vote tab on the video conference screen to avail this feature. The e-voting facility would close after 15 minutes from the conclusion of this AGM. Thank you, Chairman. I hand over the proceedings back to you.
Thank you, Dinesh. I now request actually the shareholders to raise their queries one by one. We'll take all the queries and answer after the queries are completed.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. We take our first shareholder, Mr. K. Mohiddin Ghani. You may go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes, please. Please go ahead, Mr. Ghani.
Sir, good morning, sir. My name is Ghani from Chennai. You want me to switch on the video? Just hold on a minute.
No issues. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, I'm Ghani. I'm your investor for the last 5 years, and I'm from Chennai, sir. Um, I have, first of all, I would like to congratulate the entire management team for an excellent results. So there's nothing I have on the numbers. So it's pretty much that we have done a good job in that in terms of growth. I have actually three questions, sir, which I've already sent it across, but I will quickly go through it. The first question that I have is on the foraying into Indian market with the selective injectables products. So this is something that you have mentioned in your Q1 when we have the Q1 results. It has come in. So I was just wondering that I was waiting that you will be explaining those things in your speech, but I didn't hear anything on that. So if you can touch upon the Indian markets, are we really trying to get into any of the areas in Indian market? And what therapies are we really looking at? So if you can give some brief answer on that, it will be helpful, sir. The second question I have is on your page number 30, which is your to reach among the top 25 pharma companies in the next 6 years. So I just did a rough calculation, sir. Currently the 25th company that we have is, I think it's Cygene, which is at 2,184 crores. We are at 6,084 crores in terms of consolidated numbers. So 6 years from now, my assumption is that every pharma company grows in 6 years. So my rough assumption is probably in 6 years, I think to be at the 25th company, at least at least for the 25th company, it should be somewhere around 4,000 plus crores, which is a compound annual growth rate of close to 25%, sir. So if you can just give us some high-level roadmap for how you want to reach that, probably you have some strategy on that. So if you can give us some guidelines on what is the plan of getting into that 25 top 25 pharma companies, then maybe if you can briefly provide some details on that, it will be helpful. The last part is on the ROC, return on capital employed, which is on page 28. Actually, it was 64 4 years back, and now it has come down to 30. So also, I'm also seeing the cash balances and cash equivalent bank balances have gone up. So I'm little concerned that are we not really deploying our profits efficiently? So how do we really arrest this fall of return of capital employed? So if you can just tell us, I know that you also told us some expansion plans, upcoming expansion plans within your speech. So is it really going to improve our ROC? So if you can explain that also, it will be helpful, sir. That's all I have, sir. Just three questions we can answer. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And any other queries? I think there is one more query from Mr. Aman.
Yes, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Ghani. Our next shareholder is Mr. Aman Semwal. You may go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, firstly, good morning and thank you for the opportunity. So the questions that I would like to put forward are as follows. Our debtor days as of 31st March 2016, they stood at about 12-13 days, I believe. And now, as of 31st March 2021, they're shot up to 95-96 days. I mean, what's the reason for this rise, and are we looking to take any corrective action to, bring them down again? Secondly, is with regard to our cash conversion cycle. As of 31st March 2018, we commanded a negative cash conversion cycle. But now again, it has shot up to about above 100 days, basically. So, I mean, what's the reason for the same? And again, the corrective action if you're looking to take any. And the third question is with regard to our debtors as a percentage of sales. That has also shot up from about 8% to 26% if I'll compare them from 31st March 2017 to this year. So those were the only questions. Just a thank you to Mr. Dinesh, our company secretary, for helping me join this meeting. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raman. That was the last shareholder, Chairman. Over to you.
Okay. Let me answer to the questions actually from Mr. Ghani. The first one is about the products that we launched in the domestic market. These are niche products. In fact, the business has not been very huge, but the products that we have launched are niche products in the form of amphotericin and enoxaparin, which is related to COVID-19. And since the volumes are not very high, I didn't bother actually to mention much about it. At the same time, we also have plans to go for some kind of a co-partnership with a company which is interested in a niche molecule. So we'll have to wait and see whether the niche can be extendable, which niche can become an extendable niche or not. So probably we will come to know in the next 3 to 4 months time whether we are in a position to do it or not. And number two, the most important one which you mentioned is, 6 years ago we said the top line will become bottom line of 2021 or 21-22, which of course my CFO knows. If you look at that one, there's an increase of 4 times. That 300 crore would become say 1,200 or that's 4 times. And even if I have to go by your logic, today the sales is around 1,000 crore, and the same way you expect actually is by 4 times. But the only issue is the base effect. Is it really possible for us actually to increase the sales that way? There are 2 things. One, if you look at our growth, the CAGR is always around 28%. The CAGR that you expect, that we actually need, is somewhere around 24%. On top of it, I would like to convey certain important factors which really are important at this juncture. 6 years ago, we never had in the form of R&D, be it in the form of injectable R&D or API R&D or CRO or bigger markets. We were actually doing business in the smaller geographies, as I told you, but it was not an evolved business in the form of registering 500 to 600 products. At the same time, today, we probably is the only company having 600 locals working in Latin America. These are the factors which would help us actually to create the ripple effect. And the other one, as you move on to actually the larger geographies, automatically the volumes will improve. And as you have the capability actually to create the registration in a larger geography like any other big company, you also have space to grow in that actually area. These are the things which we consider that it's definitely possible for us to make it. But again, there is one issue which none of us can predict is the COVID. When exactly the COVID curve will flatten, when we will be in a position to travel to this part of the world, that's not in our hands. Thus, but that might even delay the prospects. It will not deny the prospects. Delay the prospects maybe by 1 year or 2, maximum 1 year or 2 years, depending upon actually the COVID curve. This is of course very difficult for me to give you an answer. And ROC, since I didn't mention the exact amount of investment in the current year, let me actually tell you, we are planning to invest around 350 to 400 crores in this year, in the next 2 years, current year and the next year. And I also looked at actually some of the peer balance sheets, and many of them more or less similar to us. Some companies which are mostly into discovery and that kind of a stuff are more into what do you call similars, biosimilars and other things. That's where I have seen the ROC, the capital employed, is quite high. Third issue, again, during COVID times, it's not easy to attract the talent also. People don't want to move from one state to another state. And you're also aware, Tamil Nadu, the ecosystem for automobile is excellent, not for pharmaceutical, which means I have to attract the talent. We have to attract the talent either from Bangalore or Andhra or Hyderabad. And it's not the right time actually to go for a project where you are not in a position to get the talent. Coming to ROC, I think I would like to say this anecdote. The day we plant the seeds is not the day we eat fruits. That's very much applicable to pharmaceuticals. This is what I would like to convey. Now I request my CFO to answer to Mr. Aman's questions.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Ghani and Mr. Raman. Just to supplement what Chairman said about the ROCE, the answer lied in the question what Mr. Ghani raised itself. He himself has mentioned that we are having a cash balance of 400 plus crores. Chairman has already explained that these are going to be deployed in productive assets, the fruits of which will be reaped 3-4 years from now. So the ROC will definitely be better as compared to this. And as he has also mentioned, the base effect always plays a role. 64% on a smaller turnover and base of capital employed is difficult to achieve, and you would appreciate the capital employed has gone up 3.5 fold as compared to 2017-18, which we are comparing. That is as far as ROCE is concerned. Coming to Mr. Aman's questions, debtors actually 2017-18 is the year where we changed the business model and also we ventured into the new areas, territories, and new segments like government businesses and tenders. We have explained in various fora and various press releases, investors' calls consistently that the same old negative working capital will not be able to realize anymore. As the sales have gone up, the mixes also has gone up. The customer base is different. And as Chairman has rightly put, we have changed the model last year to get into the sales through our subsidiaries. That has also increased our inventory. Working capital cycle has gone up mainly last year. We did elaborate on this inventory part last year, and we have been talking about it every forum wherever we have a chance to address investors online or offline. That the inventory is what has reached us to this level. Whatever we are carrying in the warehouses, Chairman used to say goods closer to the customer. That is what has enabled in the challenging period of COVID, when people are struggling to ship out materials, close to 250 crores worth of materials were available in our warehouse, which got converted into sales and also cash. And the another reason for elaborating the working capital cycle is all of us know there are difficulties in getting vessels, availability of vessels, availability of containers, and the transit time. The inventory includes the transit inventory also. More than 50 to 60% of my inventory, what is shown in the balance sheet, is on voyage, is on sea. It is taking whatever used to take 45 days is taking 90 days. Whatever I could ship out 3 days from the day of production, it is taking 15 to 16 days to get a vessel or container. So these are the challenges which we are facing, which others are also facing. And we have been repeatedly saying that the receivables we are monitoring very closely on a day-to-day basis at the highest level. We would endeavor to contain it at 90 days, 95 days, which we feel is reasonable and on par with the peers whom we are comparing. When we are the base effect also has a role to play there. I think I have addressed. If there is any further follow-up question, I would like to answer them.
Is there any other queries from the same shareholders?
No, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The results of the votes cast through the remote e-voting and e-voting during AGM and scrutinized report will be informed to the stock exchanges and published on the website of the company and Nsdl website within 2 working days from the conclusion of the AGM. Once again, I thank all the stakeholders for having reposed so much of faith in us. And I would like to conclude this meeting and request you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay solvent. I now declare the meeting as closed. Thank you. Thank you very much once again.